This is the Dr. A Show with your host, Dr. Will Aguila.
Poet, writer, performer, teacher, and director Dr. Maya Angelou is truly a Renaissance woman. She captivated our minds with her groundbreaking autobiographies, beginning with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and she inspired us with her poems including Mother and On the Pulse of Morning, which was read at the inauguration of President William Jefferson Clinton. As a writer, Dr. Angelou has allowed us to glimpse into her world, not only as an African American, but as a woman growing up and facing the same trials and tribulations that affect us all, yet coming out at the other end with dignity and confidence. I'm honored to have her on my show today as we talk about her newest book, an intimate and inspiring story about her relationship with the person that made her what she is today, her mom. The book is titled Mom and Me and Mom. Dr. Angelou, welcome to the Dr. A Show.
Thank you, Dr. A.
Now, if you were to close your eyes right now and think of your mother, what are the images that come to mind?
Well, I see her with lipstick. She was a beautiful woman, and when I met her, I left her when I was 3, or I was sent away when I was 3, and I went back to her to stay with her when I was 13. And I had been in a little village in Arkansas with my grandmother, my father's mother, who was very Christian, who spoke very softly, who was very devout, who didn't allow worldly music to be played in the house. When I was 13 and my brother 15, we were sent back to California to my mother. And she wore lipstick and danced and had records on, and it was amazing. And she wore lipstick. She was so pretty, sparkling, and she talked very fast. And she moved all the time. And I'd ask her, why do you do that? She said, I have to keep my motor running.
But you called your mother Lady instead of Mother for quite a while.
Yes.
What happened that earned her the right to be called Mother?
Oh,
Something
she was
happened.
so kind. I couldn't understand her at all at first. And I wouldn't call her Mother. And she said, you have to address me somehow. So I said, I'll call you Lady. And she said, ask why? I said, because you're so pretty. And you don't look like a mother, and you don't act like a mother. And she said, Lady, all right, I'll take that. And then she told everybody, the people who worked for her, she said, I'll be called Lady. And the people in the town in which she lived, finally, I did call her Lady and still do. And at one of the parks is named for her, Lady Baxter Park in Southern California.
She obviously inspired you very much. What are some of the most important lessons that you learned from your mother that she taught you?
Well, that I could try anything, any good thing. I learned that I had to have courage. Courage was the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. So I developed courage in small ways, and then I had it in larger ways and larger ways. And I could attempt anything, including languages, although I had spent about 7 years as a mute. But I did like to listen to people speak, and I learned how to listen. I sometimes would think of my whole body as an ear, and I could go into a room and listen.
Very important to have
yes,
that
indeed.
Ability
and
to
this
do that.
is why Spanish is one of my languages, French,
very good.
Italian, Arabic. I've taught some of those languages, and at one time I was a translator in several Croatian Yugoslavia. And it just comes from really listening to how people speak.
You overcame a lot of obstacles in your life, and including, unfortunately, a rape that was very difficult, I'm sure, and you chose not to be a victim, and you did not let this incident define who you are or the life that you live. How did you accomplish that? I'm
still accomplishing it. I'm 85 2 weeks ago, and it's becoming a whole human being. It's not something you achieve. That's like saying, when people walk up to me and say, I'm a Christian, I think, already? You've already got it? I'm a Muslim. I'm a Jew. What? Already? No, it's a condition you continue to work at. So at 85, and with the achievements I have, which are really quite numerous, I'm still working at it. You understand?
I do, and I think that attitude is very important. You also mentioned an attitude of gratitude. Wonderful phrase. How do we learn to push regret aside? Because I believe that when we take solace in regret, sorrow becomes our lifelong friend. How did you learn to push that aside?
Well, I know that because, again, of my mother and my brother and my grandmother in Arkansas, they loved me and let me know that I was lovable and I was funny and I was good and I could learn things. And they arranged the climate so I could develop self-esteem. With self-esteem, you realize, oh, I'm worth it. I'm worth eating properly. I'm worth getting my hair done. I'm worth it. I'm worth reading a book in Spanish or in French. I'm worth it. And with that, Dr. A, is a concomitant responsibility that one insists upon being received. I'm worth more than being called a B or an N. I'm worth more than that. I'm a child of God, for one thing. And secondly, I work very hard, and I'm very kind. So don't think you can just obliterate me by calling me out of my name.
So working on your self-confidence and self-worth is a lifelong achievement.
Yes, it is.
Dr. Angelou, words come to us as a need to clarify the thoughts in our minds. What were some of the most important words for you in this book that you just wrote about your mother?
Well, her kindness. She was very kind in that she had money and she owned nightclubs and hotels. And if a person came to her and said and acted not in a kind way, my mother would say, just a minute, not again. Then when the person was out of her hearing, she never laughed at the person. She said, people do what they know to do, not what you think they know, not what they think they know. People can only do what they know to do. I loved that in her.
Your mother was full of passion for what she believed in, and she ignited that passion in you, no doubt. I believe that brilliance is passion turned loose, and you certainly have taught a lot of people to do that. What are your thoughts?
If you have no passion, you might not be going anywhere. You may go where anybody sends you. If you have passion, and you can discover it in yourself, you have passion for music, or for literature, or for cooking, or for keeping a beautiful house without lots of money, but you pick up a few flowers on the way home and arrange them and put them around the house, and so it makes you smile when you see them. Your life is richer. You have something to give somebody. You have the time to be kind and patient with children.
I believe in wearing your best set of clothes on the day you feel the worst. You wake up in the morning and you just don't want to get out of bed. Wear the best set of clothes you have.
That's it.
What do you think?
That's it. I agree.
Dr. Angelou, I know the relationship you had with your mother, but if you had a chance to be your mother, what would you have done differently?
Very little. I tell you, when I told my brother that I didn't really like Mother very much, he asked me, I said, I didn't like it. She abandoned us. He asked, did you ask her why? And I said, no. He said, let's go ask her why. So we went, and he did ask her, why did you leave us, and why didn't you come and get us? And she said, because I was not ready to be a mother. She said that she had sat on the front porch in California, and I, as a 3-year-old, had asked for something which she didn't give me. And so I hit her on the leg because I was angry. And she said, without thinking, she backhanded me off the porch onto the dirt yard. She said, when I saw that, I realized I wasn't fit to be a mother at that age. And I realized over years that there are people who really are horrible parents of small children, but who become great parents of young adults, and vice versa. There are people who are great parents of little children. They keep them in their sweet little booties and their little bow ties and nice little bow ribbons in their hair. And as soon as they get to be 12 or 13 or 14, the parents can hardly stand them. They say, shut up, sit down. Go over there and sit down, be quiet. But my mother was she really was not able to be a parent. And she did the best thing that she could have done for me, send me to my grandmother, me and Bailey.
And she had the courage to know her limitations, and a lot of us
Absolutely.
don't have that. Well, this is a very, very well-written book. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope a lot of people will enjoy it as well. You said that your mother deserved a daughter who loved her and had a good memory, and she got one, and
Yes,
there's
she
no
did.
doubt about that. It has been an honor having you on the show.
It's
Dr.
my
Angelou.
pleasure, Dr. A. Thank you very much. I hope when I come to Boston, I'll be able to come on your show again.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias. Bye-bye.
We have been speaking with Dr. Maya Angelou. Her newest book is Mom and Me and Mom. You can find it at all major bookstores and on Amazon. More of the Dr. A Show coming up.